Hey everybody, Roll with the West, day 3 coming at you and talking about living healthy this week. Just kind of coming back, some of you this may be a reminder, it may be a refresher, but when there is so much blaring, screaming at you about death and everything going on around you that we've been exposed to, you need to re-up your faith and re-feed your faith many times. Some of this may be brand new to you, which you're hearing, but to re-strengthen your confidence in the life and health of God that has provided you, that Jesus came for us to have a life, to live in health, to live in his best, and to overcome all sickness and disease in every form. COVID, doesn't matter, whatever it is. So let's get into this today. 1 John 4, and I'm going to kind of summarize just the whole chapter to a moment. What does this apply to healing? What I want to tackle today and challenge a little bit, a lot of people don't judge sickness and disease in the light of God's nature. There are people that think God's the one that sends the sickness still, that God is somehow divinely orchestrating his wrath and punishment, that God is somehow trying to teach us something, that God only heals those who deserve to be healed or have the right setup or somehow have this qualification for healing. All that stuff is contradicting to his nature. In 1 John 4, it talks about in verse 8, God is love. Verse 16, the confidence it talks about, John was saying, we know and believe the love God has for us. So we're not walking afraid of the day of judgment. If we're afraid, it's for fear of punishment. And so many a times what we feel and what the enemy tries to trick us and what a lot of even bad doctrine and church teaching teaches us, that God is somehow punishing you and that you deserve the sickness. When really we see Jesus go through and relieve suffering. Where Jesus went through, you remember the story, the account of the man that Jesus put the mud in eyes when he started his spitting ministry in that moment. He put the mud in his eyes. Well, before that, back up a verse or two, the disciples asked him, well, was it his sin or his parents' sin? And Jesus goes, it's not about that. It never was about that. It's just so the glory of God could be seen. Now, that doesn't mean God struck the man with blindness just so he could heal him to prove he's God. That's sick and twisted. We would never do that to our own kids. But what it shows in that moment, it never was about sin. Jesus immediately healed the suffering. So when you walk through and watch Jesus continuously heal suffering, heal suffering, heal suffering, it shows that he is actually not involved or concerned about this orchestration of divine punishment. Let's say you did something to actually make yourself sick. You know, there's things you can put in your body. There's decisions you can make to make yourself sick. There's things you can violate wisdom. And in that moment, we say, the demonic twisted way of looking at that, people will say, see, you deserve that. You should have got that. You da-da-da-da-da. And that's twisted. That flies against the nature of God when God's like, no, my will is still for you to healing. So there's people literally in hospital beds right now that says, oh my God, I violated wisdom and too ashamed to even believe God or ask for help or call for prayer. That's not the will of God. God is merciful. God is gracious, because we all need that. Thank God he doesn't do that to me. Thank God he doesn't do that to you. So whatever it is, if you feel the shame and guilt, and I'll get into more of that tomorrow, don't let that block you from receiving healing. But we have to disassociate and disconnect from this demonic twisted idea that God somehow is orchestrating sickness, that he's the author. No, we can see God in flesh, Jesus, the perfect representation of the Father. Hebrews 1:3 talks about this. And see the simple fact that his will is healing unconditional. Why? Because he is love, and that is nature. I hope that bless you. I hope that reaches you and hears you and gives you relief and gives you off the fear of being punished or associated that you somehow deserve sickness or disease, or your loved ones somehow deserve. Well, man, they live this certain lifestyle. There's no way God would heal them. No, that's not who God is. God heals unconditionally. So all I'm doing is faith works by love. When you know how much God loves you, it is easy to believe him for. And that's what I encourage you to do today. All right, guys, that's all I got for you. 7 p.m., you got pastor night. Catch service, get fed, and then I'll be back here tomorrow with you. Have a great day.